My name is Jim Threapleton. I'm an artist based in Vancouver, currently exhibiting LOREM IPSUM, a collection of my recent painting, printmaking, works on paper. The title of the show, LOREM IPSUM, is I suppose a kind of a clumsy way of pointing to the limits of language in relation to painting. LOREM IPSUM being the dummy text, kind of quasi-Latin text that publishers would use when laying out their documents. What I liked was the idea of the visual representation of language, but without any of the content. My last show with the gallery was Mutiny back in 2020, just as the COVID pandemic struck. This exhibition, I think I've tried to be, it's a lot more personal. I've tried to be a lot more inclusive of the different forms and modes that I produce in the studio. I'm not really so much interested in style, more I'm kind of preoccupied with a form of direct communication. So there's a painterliness certainly to the work that I produce, a gestural vocabulary, but I'm not looking to kind of anchor it to any one particular identity, which is why the show has a number of different visual areas that I've explored. I guess I'm kind of interested in the lyrical possibilities of oil paint in particular, the way it moves across the surface. As I'm sure any other artist would admit, there's always a broad spectrum of cultural stimulus that seeps into the studio and into the output. Certainly in terms of filmmaking, my experiences with film were creating improvisational narratives, and in that sense there's definitely a sensibility that I brought over from filmmaking into painting in terms of that intuitive improvisational approach, trying to allow the method to be feeling, and to allow a material kind of investigation to determine how the work forms. As the paintings develop, what I'm trying to achieve is a kind of a landscape of material texture, a kind of spectrum of flatness and depth, a sort of a push and pull of form and formlessness, so that the painting remains a fluid proposition that requires a certain amount of collaboration from the viewer to meet the painting halfway. I prefer painting on usually hard surfaces, wood panel, aluminium panels. I enjoy the resistance that a hard surface gives. I like the idea of a thing unfolding out of itself. There's a kind of intrinsic lyrical quality to the way oil paint moves across a surface, and it behaves in different ways, whether the surface is canvas, which is fairly giving, or a hard panel, whether that's wood or aluminium, or in fact paper. You get these transitional differences between phases or passages across the surface, which allows the composition to generate itself in a sense. As I was producing this collection of work, I found myself spending a lot of time with Turner, particularly his later seascapes, which have this incredible atmospheric charge to them, and at the same time as being almost entirely abstract, seem to carry that potential for representation, for something recognizable behind the veils of atmosphere that he produces. The frustration in making paintings propels you to have another go, I suppose. From a personal point of view, there's a meditative quality to the experience, a material meditation, which I don't think I could never not have. And from a painting point of view, each painting presents itself as an opportunity to learn and develop, and so the frustrations of closing one painting off is usually quickly followed by the optimism of starting a new one, of resisting defeat and trying to rectify some of those failures that have occurred in the previous work. So it's this engine of failure, I suppose, that keeps you moving forward towards the a point in the future where all of those elements that you're hoping to bring together in one work actually come to fruition.